Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The opening game of the 2025 NFL season had all the drama fans could have asked for. A clash between Justin Herbert's Los Angeles Chargers and Patrick Mahomes' Kansas City Chiefs, a matchup staged in Brazil that instantly had the world's eyes glued to it. Jim Harbaugh's squad came in with plenty to prove, and they delivered a statement win that immediately set the tone for the year ahead. But the biggest talking point wasn't just Herbert's brilliance. It was the fallout from his performance, sparking renewed debate about the Miami Dolphins' decision back in the 2020 draft. Former NFL quarterback turned content creator Kurt Benkert took to social media to fire a shot at Miami, reminding everyone of a choice that still echoes today. The Dolphins really drafted Tua over Justin Herbert. It wasn't just a jab. It was a reminder of how decisions at the draft board can shape franchises for years to come. When Herbert stepped onto the field in Brazil, he carried himself with the kind of confidence that can only come with maturity and the backing of a coach like Harbaugh, who has reshaped the Chargers into a disciplined, relentless unit. His performance against the Chiefs wasn't about gaudy numbers alone. It was about poise in critical moments, precision under pressure, and the ability to rise above even when facing a Super Bowl-winning defense. It was a masterclass in leadership, and it was exactly the kind of showing that reignites the comparisons to Tua Tagovailoa. For Dolphins fans, every big Herbert performance feels like a fresh wound, reopening the conversation about what could have been if Miami had chosen differently. And when you mix in Benkert's sharp commentary, it becomes clear this debate isn't fading away anytime soon. To really understand the sting of this comparison, you have to rewind to that unforgettable 2020 NFL draft. The quarterback class was stacked, headlined by Joe Burrow after his historic season at LSU, where he torched defenses with Ja'Marr Chase and Justin Jefferson by his side. Burrow became the undisputed #1 pick, transforming the Bengals' future in the process. But behind him, the debate raged between Tua and Herbert. Tua was the accurate, deadly lefty who had already tasted national championship glory, while Herbert was the prototypical NFL quarterback, tall, strong, with a cannon for an arm. Miami's Tank for Tua campaign had already become a rallying cry for fans, but after his hip injury, doubt crept in. Yet, when the moment came, the Dolphins stuck with their original vision and chose Tua, leaving Herbert to fall into the Chargers' lap at number 6. That decision set the stage for the conversation we're still having today. What makes this storyline even more compelling is how both quarterbacks have developed since entering the league. Tua has had moments of brilliance in Miami, no question. His accuracy remains among the best in the league, and at times, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle streaking down the field, he has looked like an elite quarterback. But consistency, durability, and playoff success have eluded him. On the other side, Herbert has been forced to battle through coaching changes, injuries, and organizational instability, yet his raw talent has kept him in the spotlight. Now, with Harbaugh bringing structure and identity to the Chargers, Herbert looks like a quarterback who is ready to finally take that next step. The contrast between their situations makes Benkert's jab at Miami feel even sharper. It isn't just about who they picked, but about how those careers have unfolded in completely different environments. The Chargers' win over the Chiefs wasn't just a regular season victory. It was symbolic. Kansas City has owned the AFC West for years, and Mahomes has been the immovable obstacle for every team in the division. For Herbert and the Chargers to go into Brazil and not only compete but win, it sends a message that the balance of power may finally be shifting. Herbert looked composed, making throws at every level of the field, and the offensive line, despite losing Rashawn Slater, gave him the time he needed to pick apart a talented Chiefs defense. Joe Alt, stepping into the left tackle role, played like a seasoned veteran, showing that this team has depth, resilience, and belief. If the Dolphins were watching, they weren't just seeing Herbert shine. They were seeing a franchise maximize the very opportunity Miami passed on years ago. Kurt Benkert's commentary was more than just a hot take. It tapped into a long-standing frustration for Dolphins fans and added fuel to a conversation that has lived for half a decade. His words carried weight because they reflected what so many already feel deep down, that Miami missed their chance at a franchise-altering quarterback. To make matters worse, as Benkert pointed out, The Dolphins didn't just draft Tua over Herbert. They doubled down by handing him a massive contract extension before Herbert got his own deal. It was a decision that showed faith in Tua, but also one that, if results don't come soon, could haunt the franchise financially and competitively. In the NFL, timing is everything. And while the Dolphins have shown flashes of being contenders, the looming question is whether their quarterback decision will keep them stuck just short of greatness. Of course, the narrative isn't completely written yet. Neither Herbert nor Tua has won a playoff game, which keeps the debate alive and nuanced. For Herbert, the expectation is clear. With Harbaugh at the helm and a talented roster around him, the window to compete for championships is now. For Tua, the pressure is equally intense, as the Dolphins' front office has invested heavily in building an offense tailored to his strengths. The problem is that every time Herbert delivers a performance like the one in Brazil, the spotlight shifts back to Miami and the decision they made in 2020. It's not about Tua failing. It's about Herbert thriving in ways that remind everyone of the road not taken. That's the kind of narrative that never dies in sports, and it's exactly why Benkert's post went viral in the aftermath of Friday's game. Looking ahead, this storyline promises to be one of the defining debates of the NFL's next chapter. As the Chargers chase playoff success under Harbaugh, and as the Dolphins continue to push for relevance in an AFC dominated by heavyweights like Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Buffalo, the careers of Herbert and Tua will remain intertwined. Fans will argue, analysts will debate, and former players like Benkert will continue to stir the pot, keeping the conversation alive. What's undeniable, though, is that Herbert's performance in Brazil was more than just an opening night win. It was a statement to the league, a reminder of his talent, and a fresh dagger to Dolphins fans still wondering what might have been. And if this is just the beginning of Herbert's resurgence, then Friday night might be remembered not only as the start of a season, but as the turning point in one of the NFL's great quarterback debates. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL is once again at the center of a storm, and this time the turbulence comes from an unexpected place. A canceled matchup that was supposed to pit the Indianapolis Colts against the Miami Dolphins. Fans had been circling the date, analysts were preparing breakdowns, and anticipation was sky-high for a game that promised storylines on both sides. Suddenly, with no clear explanation that satisfied the public, the league announced that the game would not go forward. The wording of the official statement felt cautious, even vague, and immediately sparked debate across social media. Supporters flooded online forums, asking what was really happening behind the scenes, and some even wondered if this could have deeper implications for the season. Instead of clarity, the league's silence fueled conspiracy theories, ranging from scheduling conflicts to hidden disagreements among owners. The NFL thrives on spectacle, but this particular drama is one it never intended. What makes this cancellation even more intriguing is the way both teams have handled the announcement. The Colts released a carefully crafted message, praising their fan base for understanding the difficult situation while expressing disappointment that the event wouldn't unfold as planned. The Dolphins, on the other hand, were more restrained, limiting their statement to a few lines that many described as robotic. That difference in tone immediately caught the attention of insiders, who suggested the two franchises may not see eye to eye on what led to the abrupt decision. Could it be internal disputes? Could it be disagreements about travel, logistics, or even health-related protocols that haven't been made public? Nobody knows for sure, and in the absence of transparency, speculation reigns. For supporters who invest emotionally in their teams, the uncertainty stings, and it makes the wait for real answers even harder. Everyone wants truth, but truth feels elusive. Another layer to this mystery lies in how the league itself framed the announcement. The NFL prides itself on discipline, scheduling precision, and delivering a product that feels bulletproof against chaos. To have a game canceled in such a high-profile fashion is rare, and when it happens, it usually comes with extensive explanation. Not this time. Instead, the statement leaned heavily on words like unforeseen circumstances and difficult decision, terms that sound polished but reveal very little. Journalists who cover the league daily quickly began pressing for details, but official sources remained silent. That silence, more than the cancellation itself, is what is stoking the fire. The NFL's brand is about control, and when it appears to lose that control, critics find plenty of material. At the same time, some argue this secrecy might be strategic, an attempt to protect reputations while negotiations or investigations play out quietly in the background. Fans of both teams, meanwhile, are left feeling robbed of an opportunity they had been waiting for. For the Colts, it was a chance to showcase their evolving roster under intense scrutiny. For the Dolphins, it was supposed to be a test of consistency, an opportunity to silence doubters who questioned their staying power. Ticket holders are furious, many expressing frustration over travel expenses, canceled plans, and a sense of betrayal. Social media has become a battlefield, with angry messages aimed at both the franchises and the league office. Some believe refunds and apologies are not enough, demanding accountability and full disclosure of the reasons behind this dramatic move. Beyond financial concerns, fans also feel emotionally invested, and the sudden void left by the canceled game creates a sense of emptiness. Football is more than sport. It's ritual, expectation, and community. To have that taken away without warning only deepens the resentment. The media landscape has responded predictably, turning the cancellation into the week's hottest debate. Sports talk shows dedicate entire segments to dissecting theories, ranging from the plausible to the absurd. Some analysts suggest it could be related to disputes over player safety, while others hint at contractual battles tied to broadcasting rights. A few more dramatic voices even whisper about personal conflicts between executives behind closed doors. Whatever the truth may be, the cancellation has become the perfect breeding ground for rumors. Podcasts are thriving on the speculation, YouTubers are breaking down every sentence of the league's vague statement, and bloggers are finding new audiences by promising inside scoops. In short, the absence of a game has created a different kind of entertainment. The NFL may not have wanted this storyline, but it has given content creators plenty of material to keep fans glued to their screens. Behind all this noise, one has to wonder how the players themselves are reacting. These athletes structure their weeks around preparation, mental focus, and anticipation of the competition. For them, having a game pulled suddenly from the schedule is no small matter. Insiders whisper that frustration is simmering inside both locker rooms. Players train for rhythm, for continuity, and abrupt breaks in routine can disrupt performance. Some veterans reportedly voiced concerns privately, feeling that the cancellation undermines their efforts. Younger players, desperate for opportunities to prove themselves, are even more affected, as each game represents a platform to showcase talent and secure a future. When such a chance disappears without explanation, it breeds tension. The human side of this story, the emotions of those who dedicate themselves to the sport, risks being overshadowed by the headlines about controversy and scandal swirling around boardrooms and fan forums alike. Financially, the ripple effects are undeniable. Stadium workers, vendors, broadcasters, and local businesses all prepared for the influx of fans and the boost in revenue a game delivers. Hotels had bookings, restaurants stocked up, and merchandise sales were expected to spike. The abrupt cancellation leaves economic fallout that stretches far beyond the playing field. Some owners and executives will brush it off as a necessary sacrifice, but for smaller stakeholders, it represents real loss. This adds another dimension to the anger surrounding the decision. It's not just about entertainment, it's about livelihoods. In a league that generates billions annually, the perception that it cannot manage its obligations to fans and workers creates damaging optics. The NFL has always prided itself on being more than sport, branding itself as an institution woven into the fabric of American culture. This incident, however, makes it look clumsy, inconsistent, and even arrogant in its handling of crisis. Ultimately, the cancellation of the Colts versus Dolphins matchup may come to symbolize something larger about the NFL's current moment. The league is a giant, but giants stumble, and when they do, the tremors are felt everywhere. Transparency has long been a weakness, and this latest controversy highlights how quickly trust can erode when fans feel excluded from the truth. Whether the reason is health, politics, finance, or pure mismanagement, what matters most now is how the NFL chooses to rebuild credibility. Will it double down on secrecy, or will it risk vulnerability by admitting mistakes? For supporters who treat football as tradition, ritual, and almost religion, the answer could reshape their loyalty. For now, the story remains unresolved, a rumor-filled saga without an ending. But in the world of sports, sometimes the drama off the field can capture more attention than anything happening between the sidelines. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.